over the noises in the hospital room, I overheard the doctor say, "Only 3 days, at most 4, she'll live." I watched as my father crawled into her hospital bed alongside of her, the tears streaming down his face as he delivered the news. My mother simply nodded her head in acceptance. As I watched this, I was so unexpected of that response. I'd seen her fight literally for 8 years. Yet it was in that moment I realized her response wasn't one of giving up or being beaten. It was one of strength. One where she was able to say, "Yes, I accept my new challenge." The fight of battling cancer was over. My mother was learning the final human process, death. And she took on that challenge, as she did every other challenge in her life, with her head held high and a smile on her face. Suffering in her mind was optional. My mother had a want to be with her family and to not suffer, and that want was greater than her want to not die. For that decision, she spent the next 4 days with her family in utter joy and happiness. What a blessing! I did not have to watch my mother live out her life in fear and anger. Instead, I got to experience her in all her greatness. The next days, because of her decision to not suffer, unfolded the most beautiful events that life is truly made of. As soon as we got home, our house was filled to the brim with friends and family. People waited in our living room for hours for their chance to sit next to my mother, reminisce about the good old days, and give her one final kiss goodbye. My mother only ate pineapple upside down cake for those 3 days. She sipped white wine with her Yaya sisters. She danced her final dance on the back porch with my father. My mother watched her final sunrise with her arms held high into the sky and the white sun glistening off of her Irish freckled skin as she sang the circle of life. My mother chose to live, even when she was faced with the painful death of suffocation. My mother didn't care that the cancer was consuming her because she was consumed with love. It is a natural fear of humans to fear death. My mother was no different, though she chose to change her perspective. She chose to view her death as an opportunity to grow and learn, to be with others. My mother changed her perspective, changing herself so that she could live out the life that she wanted, up until the very last breath. Those final 2 lessons are what have taught my family how to live. It's quite strange, isn't it? Viewing someone's final days on earth, her process of dying, is the exact example of how to live. To live with your full heart. To live without fear of the unknown. And to love, because love conquers all. Live as Billy did in her last days, because that's a way to live. Mrs. Chair.